Well, we come to unleash America and world.
Okay.
So it's just like on our circuit. Good content, but also like just good customer conversations. I mean, right now, budgets are tight to travel post-COVID, but people are going to conferences. They're using it as a moment to connect with a lot of people at once. This is an excellent opportunity to reconnect with them, but also reconnect with analysts that I haven't spoken to in a while. Good opportunity to just go back-to-back briefings and also just meet with some of our partners.
Hi, I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Unleash America 2024 conference. Meeting and speaking with HR and talent acquisition professionals who are here to network, promote their organizations, and to also share input and guidance on the ever-changing marketplace that we're all working in. We're at Unleash, of course. Of all of the conferences you choose from, what brought you and your team to Unleash? Why Unleash? To share this wealth of knowledge.
Oh, well, that's a good question.
Well, let's see. Would it be wrong to say because it's in Vegas? Yes. Actually, Unleash has really distinguished itself as a leading industry technology event.
I think the reason that people are here is they're here to learn. And they're here to learn about not just what are the trends that we're seeing in HR or in talent acquisition, but also to learn from each other.
It's interesting because in our business, we're always looking for the kind of place that gives you access to people who are making decisions around the services that you provide.
Talent acquisition leaders in the room, what I'm hoping is that they'll go back to the office or their living room, wherever they work, and start asking smart questions within their organization. How are we using technology to reduce our overall spend on sourcing candidates? How are we using AI to ensure that we don't waste money? How are we using AI to ensure that we don't waste time in sourcing these candidates? Because that level of efficiency needs to increase, and a lot of organizations want to, but they don't have the technology to do it today.
How do you have TA and HR leaders come away inspired to just rethink what is that relationship that HR can have with the business? The business does not have time or capacity or often the desire to go through the change management and the workshops and the know-how. And with AI, we don't need them to go through change management and sessions and training. And so I think it's both be inspired by what our clients, especially top innovator clients, are bringing to market in reshaping the relationship that the business, especially hiring managers, can have with recruiters and can have with HR. And then number two, when we think about HR operating models, not just thinking about it from a change management and a training, but think about it as how technology removes a lot of the challenges that today are only trainable or change manageable to get there.
I was in this session last night with Talc, the Silicon Valley Talent Acquisition Leadership Council, and they were leading the way. I mean, we did a number of surveys, a number of polls, and clearly they're teaching their companies AI and what the laws are saying now in New York and elsewhere, what you need to know about bias and what you need to know about how to pick a vendor and how to be careful that your vendor is going to be in business in a few years and that kind of thing. I would say lead the way. I mean, find out what you can learn and be the teacher to the best that you can to your colleagues, to your coworkers, and to your company.
So what we really loved about Unleash was this idea of the practitioners as well as vendors coming together to share a lot of thought leadership around what's new in the industry.
One of my favorite things about doing this that was quite unexpected for me is just the network growth.
We are always looking for thought leaders and partners and for the latest technology innovation to bring it to our community members. It's always helpful for me to know, best practices, what's going on, the latest and greatest.
You have so many real practitioners that are present. And so naturally, the exchange of conversation that should occur is going to help you get better.
the struggle to hire for culture fit. You know, that's an ever-growing challenge for every single business, whether you are an established business or you're a startup, right? We're in the business of people. So you can show up today the way you are as a candidate, but you can show up on your first day differently. You can show up 3 months from now differently. Who knows what's going on in your life? And so you're in the business of people. But the things that you can try to quote unquote control is focusing really on more skills-based hiring, and really trying to identify those key competencies that you need for the role and kind of working backwards.
How should we think about building our skills of the future? How can we identify emerging and growing skills ahead of time so that I can plan for the future?
The idea that the old-fashioned way of like saying somebody has a role and that here's their skills and none of that changes and they do 5 things and they do it this way for 6 months and then somebody comes in and says, did you do it or not? You don't even need that anymore, really. What you need is something that says, here's your skills today, here's your skills tomorrow, to keep challenging yourself personally and also professionally to be able to achieve the types of things we need in our organization.
So if you're a business that has been in maintenance mode for the last decade and you haven't invested in your infrastructure and you haven't invested in your processes and your systems, then chances are the staff that you have been trained to maintain things and maybe even to cost cut. And so that is a very different skill set than the skill set that it takes to actually drive innovation and transformation. And so do you have the skill sets on your team to actually do it and succeed? Or are you going to have to train or buy those skill sets?
Let's take large language models. If you were looking at the entire world and any job that was posted, large language models probably did not even appear in any of those jobs 5 years ago. But then you saw an explosion as these skills became more commonplace to see it. So what we are able to do is we have a library of more than 28,000 skills, and we are gathering new ones every single day. And what we are able to see is how quickly are those changing over a period of time. Is it a rate of 10%? Is it a rate of 10,000%? We are able to see what is going up in favor and what is going down. So it can give you an indication based on past performance how to project that out in the future. Now, which of those skills will come together into one individual and what label we stick on that individual is something that only the future will tell us. What we can give an understanding of, how are some of those skills as a leader you should be thinking about investing in so that you're not left behind.
Most of people's jobs will completely change in 2 to 5 years. So basically, the way that you do, so you might have still the same title, you might still have the same job, but the way that you do your job will be completely different. You'll need different skills to be able to do your job. And so how do we in HR manage to kind of manage that change and be catalysts for that? Because we need to have that seat at the table. I think about the circular economy of people and how, this is linked to how we learn, what we do, and also linked to skills. And I think the main areas are sort of what are the key pillars that we need in the circular economy of people. So it's about how we hire people. And it's not just the AI that we use to hire them, but it's also these kind of main skills that we're looking for, right? Adaptability, the type of skill that you actually have, but also how you're able to build on it. It's also about leadership. Type of leaders that we need for the future and what they're focusing on need to be much more adapt to the change and build that on their people than what used to be. It's also about skills themselves, focusing really on skills because our jobs will change so much that we need to really be very flexible in terms. We used to have very specific job descriptions and we should still have that, but skills attached to it will need to be flexible. So those are some of the things that I think will be really key. And last but not least, data analytics. I think that data analytics is absolutely the future. And I don't just mean metrics, because that's a lot of what companies are measuring, which is great, but it's how you utilize those metrics together to be able to build the future. So those are kind of the core elements.
So the expo is a really great place to be able to see what's new, up and coming, and who would be a good fit to help contribute to the community.
But that expo hall is beautiful.
Yes, that's, yeah, you said.
I mean, it really is. And I mean, just so well laid out. And the displays are just so impressive.
It's very open and friendly. It's a good atmosphere for interacting with people. I've been to, I won't mention the names, but other ones where I was like bumping shoulders with people just to get down the aisleways. And I felt like this one, it really gives an inviting presence, allowing people to kind of just stop by without like, you know, shoving shoulders or looking over somebody's head to see what's going on over there. And
it's, I think, just an awesome opportunity for the attendees to actually see what type of tech is coming out of the space. It like is incubating in the space.
No matter how sophisticated technologies we have, not everything is fully automated. So it's not like you buy a system and say click a button and it gives everything, right? So we are unfortunately not there as an ecosystem. But compared to say 3-4 years ago and now, what we can do is fascinating.
Don't be afraid of it because there's an unknown there. There's a lot of experimentation and very low risk applications of AI that you can go and invest with your vendors. A lot of these Gen AI plays on top of the platform, like writing job descriptions or interview scorecards or campaign content. That's all real easy stuff. You aren't deciding to hire someone with that data. You're leveraging that intelligence to just move faster and smarter. That might be the first step you take to dip your toe in the water. And then as you get more comfortable and your business starts to see the impact, then go expand from there.
I'm new to the HR tech space, so when I was starting out, we were not participating in Unleash yet.
This is our first time exhibiting at Unleash in Vegas. We did a little bit of walking the floor at Unleash World Paris.
So we've been coming to Unleash for several years. We've been to Global, we've been to the US.
Well, we come to Unleash America and World.
And I came last year as a guest to check it out, and I was impressed.
We met a lot of senior leaders of talent acquisition. The format that Unleash has put together really encourages a lot of practitioners to engage among themselves, with their peers, with potential partners, as well as with solution providers.
The caliber of speakers, the organization, the way it is structured, it's always generated very quality conversations and brings together a lot of thought leaderships in ways that many other conferences has not. It's truly been a leader since it first was introduced years ago.
Good content, but also like just good customer conversations. But people are going to conferences. They're using it as a moment to connect with a lot of people at once.
So have those big strategies, have those big visions, but you need to start small, find something manageable, get your quick wins, but move fast. That's the key takeaway from any of these conversations I think we're having here at Unleash.
Constantly look to improve your process. Figure out where the bottlenecks are. If there's opportunities to deploy technology like automation, summarization, things of that nature, great. If not, try to figure out, well, why is my process this way? That's on the efficient side. I think the second one for me is like, how do you add tools, in this particular tech tools, that allow you to take that process and make it more effective? So, you know, for the longest, we had TA professionals that cared about time to feel or time to offer. And I'm like, yeah, but if your time to offer is 25 days, but none of those people last longer than a year, that's not an effective process. So you got to figure out what tools, what technology is going to allow you to be more effective.
We found it's just a special conference. Our clients love it. The talent acquisition and HR transformation community, even CHROs come, so we come for the people.
Look, I think Unleash is one of those very few conferences where we can actually have the type of connectivity and proximity around what's happening in our field and like literally walk away with meaningful takeaways. So for me, like I like these types of settings. There's other conferences out there, but particularly for me, I like coming to Unleash.